Hi everybody, so this video is going to explain your Minnow Ethogram assessment. You guys are going to be writing an ethogram today describing the behaviors that minnows do in groups in relation to different levels of disturbance. So we're going to watch some videos today of minnows being intentionally disturbed. You're going to see me intentionally disturbing them. And you're going to be recording what they do, and then you're going to see some videos when they haven't been disturbed for just a little while, right? Maybe they were disturbed, and a few minutes later, this is the behaviors you see. And then some of the behaviors you're going to see today are behaviors you would see in a group of minnows after having not been disturbed for a long period of time, right? Minnows are really easily disturbed, so almost anything will disturb them to some level. Right? And they have very characteristic patterns that they do in their behavior when they get disturbed. So an ethogram, remember, is supposed to create a list of the things that minnows or any animal can or will do, right? We're not trying to simply describe what happens in these videos, just for this 1 to 2 minutes of video. We're going to try to describe in general what are the kinds of things minnows can do. And then next week, you're going to see a video of minnows doing behaviors before and after we run a little experiment to see if something causes disturbance in minnows. So I have kind of written the first ethogram category for you to review exactly how we make good quality ethograms. You guys have all written a couple of ethograms at this point and gotten some feedback on at least one of them in detail, and you're now looking to try to improve on what you did before, right? So the behavior you're going to see first here, I'm going to show you a video, is going to be a behavior I named. I just came up with this name as a category name. Actually, another student came up with it, but they called it vibing. And this is how I would describe what vibing looks like. In vibing, minnows are separated by as much as 3 centimeters, though some individuals may be closer. The minnows are swimming using their tail fins, which appears to be in random directions. They can be found anywhere between the surface and the bottom of the tank. Their movements are slow and controlled, with the fins on their back held upright. Okay, that's all. It should just say held upright. It appears that each fish is moving independent from the group, though it looks also like they are staying loosely together. And this is my description of what it looks like. And so this is what a good quality ethogram looks like. I include some quantitative detail to help you understand just how close they are, right? And that might help later in other behaviors when they may be closer or they may be pointing in the same direction instead of random directions. I'm not making assumptions about why they're doing the behavior. I'm simply describing what it looks like. I'm describing qualitative descriptions about where I would expect to see the behavior, right? And I have a lot of details. I talk about not just the most obvious parts of their bodies. So I don't just say they're swimming or that they're sitting in the water. I talk about their tail fin. I talk about the fin on their back. So I'm looking to describe the entire animal as they're doing the behavior. And here's what vibing looks like. So here we see minnows vibing. They can be as far as 3 centimeters apart, moving in random directions using their tail fin to swim. They're generally moving slowly, kind of pointed in any direction. They may be anywhere between the surface and the bottom, right? So I'm talking about where it can occur. Their movements appear to be random, although they are kind of loosely grouped together as a clump. I just described what it looks like when the minnows are doing this behavior. Now, if I was doing this for the first time, I might, and I'd never watched minnows before, I might rewatch this video several times, right? I might say, okay, I've seen that. Let's watch that again and see if I can pick up something else. Oh yeah, I noticed that most of them have, the fin on their back is standing upright, or maybe it's laying down, or whatever. Just I start noticing more detail. And then as I do that, I'm now ready to go and write my ethogram about minnow behavior. Okay, so that's the first behavior you're going to see. That's called vibing behavior. And the vibing behavior is going to be used to describe minnows in a state where they are have not been disturbed, right? Where they're not being disturbed by their environment. Nothing's going on in their environment that's disturbing. Your task is going to be to watch a second video. It's going to be posted here. And in that video, you're going to see them doing another kind of behavior, or more than one other kind of behavior that you tend to see when they haven't been disturbed for a while. The minnows will look a little bit different, but they're going to be doing some kind of slightly different stuff. So you need to give it a category name and then try to describe it in as much detail as you can. And it should be a different behavior than vibing, right? I intentionally tried to videotape other things that they tend to do when they're not disturbed. Then you're going to move on and you're going to watch a video where I'm going to disturb the minnows by attacking them with a ruler. And in that video, you're going to see a bunch of different behaviors right after they're disturbed or while they're being disturbed, and then in the time period following it. You're going to describe 2 different behaviors you see minnows do when they're being disturbed. And you might choose to focus on what are they doing right while they're being attacked, and then maybe how does that change maybe 20 or 30 seconds after the attack. And you'll notice if you watch carefully that the behaviors do in fact change. And then finally you're gonna see another little short video here. And in this video, the minnows they've been attacked, but they've been left alone, and they haven't been disturbed by their environment again. And it's probably been a couple of minutes. And in that video, again, I want you to look at the behaviors and describe them. It will look different from vibing. It will look different from the behaviors you see here in your second category. Okay, and your task is to figure out, well, what am I going to call this? How am I going to describe it? And I should be able to go back and look at your ethogram and really tell each behavior apart. Right? You might even compare them and say they're more close together than they are when they're vibing, or they're farther apart, or they're moving faster. But I should be able to tell one behavior from the other. Okay? That's your task.